and feel like
What would actually stop an accomplished actor or actress from actually showing up for an award show? That's what I ran into earlier today. I was actually walking through, doing my travels, and I ran into a situation where an accomplished actor said, yeah, okay, so I'm nominated for the Golden Globes, but I will not be participating. And that stopped me dead in my tracks. And I said, what in the world would actually stop this person from actually wanting to go to the Golden Globes of all things, being nominated? That's a big deal. I'll tell you what, assault, assault, physical assault. That's what. Listen, welcome to Kitchen Table Talk Live with SpillitBoyTV. This was so disturbing to me, and I had to come and jump up here and hit my little button because it just made no sense to me. Brendan Fraser is who I'm actually speaking of. Um, for those of you who may not right off the bat know who I'm talking about, here's what he is really known for. If you're like a movie person, then you know. But if you really aren't, here's what we know Brendan from. And you'll kick yourself like if you're sitting there saying, well, who's Brendan Fraser? George of the Jungle, and also The Mummy, of course. So he is a big deal. He's a big deal. Um, and I think he's actually Canadian, but he's a big deal. He's been a big deal for a very long time. Okay, now old Brendan is actually he's already nominated for this movie called The Whale, which is actually going to premiere December the 9th. So it's coming, but how they have those pre-screeners and they all see all of that before we do. So it's already nominated. It's nominated. The movie is actually, I think it's going to be really, really good. I did see the preview for it. It's a drama really about an English teacher who becomes reclusive. He's 600 pounds. He is completely morbidly obese, and he kind of shelters himself, and he's kind of eating himself to death, if you will, for lack of better words. He has a teenage daughter, and the story kind of chronicles trying to reconnect with his daughter and that kind of thing. So it's definitely going to be an emotional roller coaster, and it looks to be really a good story. Just the effects of how he looks and that whole 9 yards, really, really good work is what it looks like. But that's not what we're here for. What we're actually here for is the fact that he's nominated, and this is his comeback role because he's been out of the limelight for a minute. And he says he will not be going, and it's all due to past history with the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. So I said, well, what the heck? So I started digging and I started prying. He told GQ magazine, I have more history with Hollywood Foreign Press Association, and this is quoted. I have more history with Hollywood Foreign Press Association than I have respect for the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. And no, I will not participate. He says, it's because of the history I have with them, and my mother didn't raise a hypocrite. You could call me a lot of things, but not that, end quote. Okay. Now, wait, again, I went digging. So, what he is referencing is back in 2003, there was another interview he had done with GQ back back in the day. The 2003 is when the incident happened. 2018 was this other interview that he did with GQ where he just literally gave up the goods. This is the first time I'm actually hearing of this, and I'm thinking 2018 versus now, men and assault, you didn't hear very much about it. So that's probably why it never did trickle down to me at that time. But this is definitely the time to be heard. Assault is, it's bothersome how things are pushed aside, swept under the carpet, and all of that, for women and for men, and especially for men. Men, you're hearing more and more of men being assaulted, and it coming out now. This stuff has been going on. We knew it went on, especially in the business. We know this stuff goes on, but let me tell you about what I found out. Okay, so 2003, what ended up happening and what he had actually given up in this 2018 interview. Brendan basically stated that Philip Burke, who was the president of HFPA at the time, groped him as they were leaving a luncheon. So I said, what? I said, okay. I mean, you know what it gives. You know what it gives. Somebody's a little shady. They're trying to push up on someone else. He's the president of Hollywood Foreign Press Association. So allegedly, he goes and he gropes him. Then, as I dug forward, I found out, I said, oh, wait a minute. In this interview in GQ, he went into detail about what happened. Let me tell y'all this quote. This is quote. His left hand reaches around, grabs my ass cheek, and one of his fingers touches me in the taint, and he starts moving it around. Okay, so let's just really get into that right there. That right there, that's sexual assault. That's there's really no if, no ands, no buts. It's not, oh, I bumped into you. Oh, I might have brushed up against you. No, 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 no. That is a whole assault. Like, he literally had a whole episode with Mr. Fraser without his consent. He literally sexting with his clothes on. Like, that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot that went on right there. And that type of an advance, and I'm not wanting it, that's a problem. That is a problem. And especially male on male, when Brendan doesn't even identify as homosexual or anything like that. So you had no business. No business. Even if he was LGBTQIA or whatever, that was really, that was just really over the top. He said that he removed Burke's hand from him, but the experience left him feeling panicked and ill. And we're in 2022 now. So thank goodness that things have changed, times have changed, and that now males can actually come forward and actually express that and say, I can imagine that someone being handled that way. Because again, let's just really get into it. We're talking the president at the time of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, and you're an actor. and up become an actor. It's really no different than the casting couch stuff that happened with women back in the day, and it happened to men too. But he was in that same funky position, because would his career be what it is now had he blasted him back then? You know what? I'm glad times are moving on. I'm glad people are being able to come out and say that these things have happened, um, and are happening, so that there's some young person right now, there's some young person listening to my voice right now who is a budding actor or actress that this video is probably going to help with saying, listen, hey, this happened to me. Because you should be able to say, this happened to me and I don't like it. This happened to me and I don't want to be a part of it, and not have to really worry about it's going to end my whole career, because it's terrible and it's gone on for way too long. And and men just been sucking it up. They just been sucking it up and not saying anything. Because even when the whole thing happened with Terry Crews a few years back, he got so much backlash for even opening his mouth. But look where we are now. Thank goodness he did it. You know what I mean? Thank goodness. But I mean, the press was some good, some bad. I mean, he went through a whole bunch for opening his mouth. But this really did bother me. When I read this, I was done. I was done. I knew it had to be something. I knew it had to be something for him to say that he would not attend the Golden Globes. I was like, something really had to have gone down. And sure enough, when I got to digging, physical assault. And I'll be nice by saying physical assault. Call it what it is, sexual assault. Sexual assault. That's what it was. And that's it. And that's all. That's all I got to say on that. I am absolutely disgusted with it. Absolutely disgusted with it. Don't like it. Don't appreciate it. Don't like hearing that it's going on. And hopefully, him speaking up, even my little video, whoever it reaches, I hope this actually helps somebody to come and say, stand up for yourself. I don't like that. I don't want it. And come get this fool. Keep your hands off of people that ain't asked you to put your hands on them. Anyway, listen, that's it. I ain't got no more on this. Very, very bothersome. Very bothersome. All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining me at the kitchen table for a little bit of talk live. I will see you guys on the flip side. Later.
And feel like